What started off as a very bad day at the office for Celtic Football Club yesterday quickly turned into yet another comical 24 hours in Scottish football. A chance for Rangers to close the gap to 10 points and bring some momentum on their side. And up stepped the St Mirren buddies. What a day, what a 24 hours, let's talk about that. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. That would be much appreciated as we try and get to 50,000 subs by the end of the season. We have a lot to talk about today. We have yesterday's shenanigans in the VAR room that ruled off what could have been a perfectly good goal for Celtic and all of Brendan Rodgers' reaction to it. And of course, we have the hilarious 90 minutes at Ibrox, which needs to be glanced over because it has ramifications on the league table. Celtic still 13 points clear. Aye. Let's fly through this on a Sunday, shall we? Just admire it. There you go. Just have a good old laugh at it. Despite the fact that Celtic have added another loss to that L column, 2 losses for the season, we still remain 13 points clear of Rangers, and I try and come on here to be as level-headed and as fair as I can in my appraisal of things. However, it's just hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious because still, there is some out there on social media and out with social media who still want to stick a knife into Celtic when they've dropped points. And then they go and do that. So it's come up in sort of the highest order, isn't it? I love seeing it personally, but a massive chance squandered for Rangers. Look, I don't think even if they won yesterday, it would have had a big say on what happens come the end of the season. I think Celtic are still going to be comfortably champions, whether it's by 10, 13 or 30 points. The teams around the league, and especially our closest rivals, Rangers, just simply aren't good enough. And once again, that was the example there at Ibrox yesterday, wasn't it? We've seen firsthand that they just aren't good enough. There is a problem at Rangers Football Club that means they can't keep up with us, and whenever the pressure is lifted a little bit, it seems like they crumble somehow. You know, they had it right there. Celtic lost, and once again they dropped points. This channel is always meant to be one where I try and be quite fair in things, and I try not to come across as bitter or anything like that. But, you know, as a Celtic fan and as Rangers being our rivals, it's natural in rivalry to have a good laugh at it. But there is something fundamentally wrong at Rangers, which I think goes past even the manager. You know, I think the biggest part of the problem, of course, is Philippe Clement, and the fact that he's still there is brilliant for us. Long may it continue. But it's something that just seems ingrained in Rangers. Like, this is a problem that's existed for years now, and I think it goes through their captain, a few other players in that squad. I don't know what it is, but every time we drop points, I said it yesterday, the first thing I said to my dad when the full-time whistle went was, I don't think it will happen, but I have a feeling that St Mirren could win today. And they go and win 2-0, you know, barely break a sweat as well. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but Celtic can cruise through this league season now, knowing that whenever we do drop points, our closest rivals, should I put in quotation marks, aren't even going to be able to close the gap. But the one thing I want to ensure in all of that is I hate, and you see it sometimes from certain supporters online, that Rangers fans might say, oh, the only reason that you're going to win the league is because we're so bad. You're not even that good. You're not even that good. We're just so bad. That's why you're winning the league. No, let's not get it twisted. What happened at the beginning of January at Ibrox is an anomaly. I don't know how it happened. I don't know what Celtic done going into that game to make things as bad as they went. But this season we have witnessed one of the best Celtic teams in my lifetime, hence the reason that we were almost through to the last 16 of the Champions League, hence the reason we only lost 2 Champions League games across 10 in the campaign, and hence the reason we're storming towards a potential treble. So, you know, it's not a matter of Celtic being lucky that Rangers are so bad. No, we deserve to be in the position we're in, and if we were so bad, we wouldn't be 13 points clear, would we? So it's a false narrative to even get dragged into. There's no point in debating anyone that tries to peddle that nonsense. But Rangers are so far behind. That was a huge chance for them yesterday. And listen, it doesn't overwrite the negatives of Celtic losing. It's not like we can just go and shrug it off. No, we still lost the game, and that's where we need to look at now. Yesterday's performance at Easter Road was far from good enough, and I'm not going to be too over the top about things. I don't want to exaggerate because I'm very happy with how this season has went. I'm very happy where we are, and losing for only the second time by the end of February in a league season is unbelievable. You know, some people just aren't used to seeing us lose. But the performance was unacceptable. It wasn't good enough, and we need to pick it up on Tuesday night against Aberdeen. There was a few players whose performances were not even subpar; they were well below par. And that needs to be rectified. That needs to change. So a huge wake-up call for us. I don't think that necessarily the Rangers result gives us a sigh of relief type moment. I think even if they won or drew or lost as they did, we'd still be in the same position after that game and realising it's not good enough. We need to be better, and there's still a lot of football to be played. 11 league games to go where we can certainly play better than what we did at Easter Road yesterday. So it's time to talk about Easter Road yesterday, because one of the huge talking points coming out of that game was, of course, the disallowed goal, which could have seen Celtic make it 2-2 after Dyson Maeda had the ball in the back of the net. However, the ball was apparently out of play. Now, in case you haven't seen, the screenshots on screen of the ball have been shown to you, and I'm sure that you've all seen it by now. But Brendan Rodgers was not happy. In fact, here's a clip of Brendan Rodgers after the game talking to the referees and the linesmen about the decision. And clearly, as you can see by the look on his face, he was not a happy man. In fact, here was Brendan Rodgers' comments in his post-match interview saying, well, my take on it is that the official Alan Muir has had a guess at it because the linesman arguably has the best view in the stadium and he doesn't give it. So for that to get overturned, then I'm assuming there is an absolute clear image of the ball being out of play. And my experience up here with VAR is if you don't have they don't have all the angles, they don't have the equipment, so it's conclusively to say that it's conclusively out. So you're actually viewing it from a secondary position, which is a higher position, and at that point, then you're having a guess. So that's the huge disappointment. Now, Celtic fans have already been subject to the online laughs and, of course, people saying that we are peddling conspiracy and all of this. There's no conspiracy here. There is only fact, and everything that Brendan Rodgers has said is quite frankly that. It's fact. Because the fact of the matter is, nobody knows if that ball was definitely in or out. Nobody. And nobody can pretend in this comment section or on Twitter or anywhere else that they have that evidence, because it does not exist. You might think that it looks out of play, or you even might think it looks in play. But as Brendan Rodgers said, there is no conclusive evidence, and we don't have the equipment to provide said conclusive evidence. So the fact that that goal was disallowed yesterday is a sham. It doesn't make up for Celtic's poor performance. I'm not using it as an excuse that Celtic didn't walk away with a point. If anything, we got what we deserved from the game yesterday. We lost and we deserved to lose. Hibs were better and they deserved to win. So I'm not going to sit here and cry about it to the point where I feel Celtic have been robbed. No, because we got what we deserved. But hey ho, that's what happens in Scotland. That's how the SFA roll. You know, it's just no consistency, nothing in writing either. They just make it up as they go along, and that seems to be how they've operated for the last, well, I don't know, at least the last 5 years anyway. Now, the SFA apparently did comment on this, and Emma Dodds, who was presenting yesterday on Premier Sports, said this, that the SFA have said that the guidance on this disallowed goal is that the VAR check was from the 18-yard line camera, which is the one shown in this footage below. They play a bit of footage, I'll get a screenshot of it on screen for you, and it showed that the ball had crossed the byline, so in their opinion, this is concluded. But you go and watch it back, it's absolute nonsense, all of it. It's one of those ones that we can't lick our wounds for too long. We talk about it after the game yesterday, we talk about it today, and we need to move on to Aberdeen. But it's not ideal. It just once again adds to the completely nonsensical decisions that happen week in, week out in this league. And Celtic aren't the only team affected. In this instance, of course, we're talking about Celtic being affected. But this is something that is affecting every team every single week. The lack of consistency, the lack of understanding and the rules and the operation of VAR. How long is it going to be before we realise VAR is not working in Scottish football? And just to finish off, obviously this is something that we can easily put behind us if the SFA come out over the coming week and provide an image that shows clearly that the ball's out of play. That's all they have to do to make this all go away and to stop all the complaints. However, the fact is they won't, because they don't have it. And even when Willie Collum sits down to do his VAR review show with Gordon Duncan, there will be nothing on that show. Well, I can confidently say right now, I don't believe that there'll be anything on that show that shows for definite the ball was completely out of play. Remember, the entire ball has to be out. And from that terrible camera angle, We're never going to know if it was. So, yeah, we move on from it. Celtic lost the game. They deserved to lose the game, but the VAR needs a complete overhaul. It does not work, and it shouldn't be in use unless it can work effectively. So Celtic look to get back to winning ways on Tuesday night as we take on Aberdeen at Celtic Park. An Aberdeen side which once again have found their form. I say form, I use form very, very loosely, but they have managed to get back to winning ways. 3 wins in their last 3 games, including Kilmarnock yesterday. It's the confidence boost that you would probably like to see them avoid coming to Celtic Park, considering they got a point last time they came here. But look, last time they came here, we were all over them. We should have won. We should have battered them, in fact, and something on the day just went wrong. So no more drop points between now and the derby would be fantastic. And then beyond that, I don't want to drop any more points between now and the end of the season, to be quite honest. But we just take it one game at a time. And who knows, maybe by next week we could be more than 13 points clear. So it's always a good laugh up here in Scotland, isn't it? Right, if you've enjoyed, make sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.